Hello, welcome back to the podcast, and we're here with Unistix today. Yeah,
Hi.
Unistix, thanks so much for jumping in. This is my 8th episode. We've met some really amazing, interesting people, and I'm super chuffed that you said that you'd come hang out for a while.
Yeah, I'm excited to be here. It's gonna be fun.
That's awesome. Cool. Well, I guess I always like to start it by just asking people to talk a bit about themselves for people that, may not know who you are. So yeah, please get into it.
All right. Well, I'm Unistix. I'm a GU streamer. I guess that's somewhat self-evident. I also make music and, do art, sell NFTs. I recently started making games, so that's pretty cool. But it's like a very recent thing. I have like one game that exists for public. But yeah, that's kind of me. Oh, also I do circus tricks sometimes. Not professionally.
That's awesome. Just do circus tricks. That's what's your
I should
favorite
really start
circus
getting
trick?
paid for risking myself, but it's somewhat fun.
What kind of? I have to, before asking about all the other stuff, I have to ask about the circus stuff. Like, what kind of? Is it like juggling or like?
So
do you fire breathing?
yes, you guessed right. So I mainly
Yes.
fire spin, but I very recently started fire breathing, and yeah, it's pretty fun. I also do a little bit of contortion, but not like pro. And then I can juggle badly, very badly, but I can juggle hoops and balls. Oh yeah, and hula hoop. I can do just weird things with a hula hoop. It is great. And I recently started rope dart. So yeah, I just be doing random props and like never really taking the time to actually master anything and then just picking up a new prop. Oh, and fans. Yeah. Yeah.
No, I think on stream yesterday, Paul was saying that to ask you about rope darts. What are rope darts?
So, oh God. Tony's going to be so mad at me that I'm the person that explains rope darts to the Web3 community. Here we go. Okay, so basically, rope darts are like technically a martial art weapon. And it's essentially a dart on a string, and you kind of like swing it around and like shoot it at things. And you kind of learn to shoot it in. It's really weird to explain. But essentially, with one hand, you kind of like pull it back and change the slack, and with the other hand, you kind of like throw it out, and you get really good at like snapping it back when you throw it, and then you can kind of do tricks wrapping it around like your body and then like shooting it out, and yeah, it's really fun. And you start with like a little like it's like a beanbag on a string, and you kind of get used to not hitting yourself because the beanbag hurts. Like, it's not chill. And so eventually you either go for a like metal dart or a fire dart and, have a good time, show off some tricks. And I'm working towards a fire dart because I was originally going to go for a metal dart. And then one of my mates, like, shared a video of somebody else who'd like basically cut the back of their ear open with like a metal dart. And I was like, okay. Somehow I think I'm going to do less damage with fire, so we're going in that direction. Like, I know fire, I don't know knives.
I reckon, like, just the way you explained it, is it like in the movies when they're like there'll be like a scene where someone has like, they'll pick up a piece of rope with like an object at the end, and they'll spin it around their leg and knock someone out over there and here and there. Is that what it is?
Yes, that's exactly what it is.
That sounds amazing. I dig it. That's cool. So what got you kind of interested in doing like circusry stuff? Like, when did this kind of all start? Is it start as just like as you just fucking around at home and then you just kept doing it, or what?
I think it started like really early. So I got into martial arts really early, like way too early for a normal person. And I didn't really care that much for the competitive side of things or the being good at actually like doing any real damage. But what I really loved was all the like flippy, spinny, like gymnastic-y moments in there. And so I'd always be like, okay, can I learn this? And they're like, you can't even kick straight. Like, when are you going to learn a flying jump? But eventually, you know, you start learning to kick straight, you do all the things, and you start learning all the like cool flippy things. And eventually, one day you're like, oh, gymnastics is a thing. Okay, yeah, no, there's nothing to do. And then, you know, you get into that, and eventually you get old enough that you meet other people doing flippy things, and they're, you know, like, come hang out and do cool things. And eventually you meet fire spinners and hoopers and jugglers. And yeah, I think I was just kind of always set to go down that journey.
That's huge. No, I'm quite familiar with fire spinning. Like, you might be able to tell by looking at me, I've been some pretty alternative kind of places over the years. And when I was DJing for a long time, I used to do a lot of DJ shows with these girls at the Cabaret Club in Brisbane, and they used to do things like eat swords and spin fire and shit. And yeah, like my big brother does fire spinning. It's fucking cool as.
Yeah,
like, it's
it's
really
so
cool.
fun. Like, oh, it's so fun.
That's
Like,
sick.
I'm doing
awesome. All
a
right.
photo shoot on Thursday, and that's going to be really sick. Like, I'm not entirely
huge.
sure
Well,
what...
make sure to... yeah, I'm just saying, make sure to send us that stuff, so we like put it out on Twitter, tag me in it, so I can check out the photo shoot.
I should really start putting more stuff on Twitter. I usually put it on Instagram, but I don't really like put like visual stuff on Twitter very often. I don't know
we'll
why.
do it on
I just never
Insta.
thought
I'm on
about it.
Insta way more than Twitter. I'm on Insta way more than Twitter. I've only been on Twitter for like a month. I'm 33. I'm old, man. I'm very... I was around when Facebook... I mean, MySpace was around, you know? Shit.
I'm very new to Twitter, so it's very... I was always very just kind of like, yeah, I kind of only need Instagram. I kind of just want to look at photos of people's food. Like, and, you know, everyone just has Facebook because, you know, it just... Yeah. And,
it's Facebook. Yeah.
And then I got into like streaming and NFTs, and I was like, okay, I think I need to have Twitter.
Yeah, that's totally what got me into Twitter as well. Actually, I was talking to people about sponsorships, and then I saw that in the sponsorships, it wasn't enough just to be a streamer. You needed to do X amount of posts for on Twitter and stuff. I was like, fuck, I haven't even got a Twitter. So yeah, that's the thing now.
I had like the most dead Twitter. I think I had like 20 followers, and I made it in like, you know, back when like Twitter first started, right? And like everyone was like, get Twitter, and I was like, I'm never gonna use this. And like I think the photo was of like something that I like took in it, like some piece of graffiti that I thought was like really deep and profound when I was like 15. And so I'm like, oh, I have Twitter. Oh no. I have Twitter, and just purge everything from that like 6-month period. Yeah, nobody needs to know what I was tweeting at 15.
Oh yeah, no. It's sometimes good to delete a lot of things, you know. That's one thing I don't like about Twitter. It's harder to do that. On Insta and Facey, it's quite easy to reinvent yourself, but on Twitter, you can't even edit your messages. You know, edit your tweets.
Oh my god, yeah. Like I misspell so many things, and then I'll tweet. And I'm like, oh no. You can't edit anything. So I have to delete it and tweet the whole thing again. And you know what the worst part is? That I have Grammarly. Like, this is about to be a moment where we're like, oh, get Grammarly and it'll solve all your problems. No, I haven't. I just can't spell. Yeah, no.
That's huge.
Like, if Elon does anything with Twitter, like, can he at least make it so we can edit tweets? That would be so great.
Yeah, an edit button would be fucking epic. Cool. Well, I want to get to GU, but I'm kind of a little interested in this game that you're talking about, you know? Like, if you don't mind me going into that for a bit, like, what's it like to design a game?
No, it wasn't anything
Yeah.
complicated. So basically, I've been like messing around with Loopring NFTs, and I was like, I was talking to some dude on Reddit, and he was like, yeah, you can make interactive Loopring NFTs. And I was like, yeah, I've kind of seen people have the 3D ones that you can like move the model around, but like, okay, like I want to hear it. And this dude was like, yeah, I made like a JavaScript color picker. And I was like, okay, that is interactive.
That's sick.
So I basically like, he was like, yeah, it's on GitHub, like go look at it. And, you know, played around, made my own version of it. It's a lot worse than his, but it's a lot more lightweight. Then I was like, okay, cool. Essentially, you can just do whatever you want in JavaScript, and it'll show up in an NFT. So my logic was, let's build a game. I've done that, like, before, but not actually, like, released any of them because, you know, no reason to. And see how it goes. And basically, I, like, built Tic-Tac-Toe because Tic-Tac-Toe is not very difficult. It's a 9x9 grid. You basically program in all the win conditions, and then whenever you win, we reset the board. It's a pretty simple game to code.
Is that noughts and crosses?
Yeah, noughts and crosses.
Yeah. Yes.
And essentially, because the turn changing, like, switches the actual, like, player, what's the word for it? Like, the nought and the cross switch, you can kind of keep track of the turn change really easily. So I was like, why make, like, Snakes and Ladders or Brick Breaker or anything that would actually take a large quantity of time, and basically, like, smashed in some Tic-Tac-Toe, put it in the NFT, and I was like, oh, I did it. And that was a bit of a moment. I didn't think it was going to work. And, yeah, put a game in an NFT. I can link it to you.
That's massive.
If you want. Hang on. Light mode is cruel.
Yeah, send it through for sure. Send it through for sure. I'd love to, just going to open this window.
I'm planning on making a lot more of them.
Talk to you a bit about NFTs, actually. Like, I had Jommy. I did a podcast with Jommy about 6 weeks ago, maybe about a month ago. And yeah, he was right into Loopring.
Yeah,
he's
he
like,
got me into Loopring.
Loving it. Yeah, true.
Because
so,
I was originally on Wax. And Wax is still doing
So what do you
fine.
love about NFTs? Like, what do you love about it? Because, like, what got you into NFTs itself? Like, where do you see it going? Like, because one thing about the Web3 community is we're pretty fucking passionate, but I love to talk to people about why. You know what I mean? So, yeah, talk to me about NFTs. Let's go.
Okay, so I guess what got me into NFTs... this is kind of a weird one. How do you... So back in 2018...
Yeah, let's go. Let's go.
I was just messing about with ETH on Coinbase and trying to be a day trader. And, you know, it was going badly because that was when the big crash happened. So not a good time to be a day trader. And around that time, I was trying to, like, look at, like, other things to do. Because I was like, this can't be it. Because if this is all we're doing with this, then this bubble thing is going to pop and we're done. And I was like, oh, cool, you can buy, like, land, like, virtual land. And I was like, oh, my God, that's so stupid. Okay, I'm not dealing with any of this. Like, this whole thing is done. I just need a break. You know, didn't buy any of that sweet, sweet virtual land, that gold rush land. No. And I came back and it was like, oh, yeah, all that land. Remember that land on Decentraland that was like $100 that you thought, like, oh, it's stupid? Yeah, it's worth the price of a house. Yeah.
It's insane.
And so that was my moment of like, okay, NFTs are legit. Even if I don't like fully understand what I'm going to do with virtual land, that massive like price shift in something where it was like, okay, I saw this a year ago like 2 years ago, it was like, you know, a thing. And then like 2 years later, it's like just huge. And so after that, I was like, okay, cool. I'm going to check out like Decentraland a lot more. And that kind of got me into NFTs with all the like Decentraland wearables and just other bits. And I was like, okay, cool. This is like functioning. There's stuff. And I was like, okay, what else is just out there in terms of NFTs? Then I found OpenSea. Also, then I found the price of like other projects that I was like, oh, this is stupid. And yeah, there was a big like month of just pure unadulterated regret. And just me sitting there like, oh, wrote that off. Oh, that could have just bought me a house. Okay. And then after that, I was like, okay, cool. We can't like, spilled milk, all that. Let's just like get into a project. And then it was like a case of like finding something that like actually was fun, because I kind of figured that like, the reason I was still doing Decentraland stuff was because it was fun. And I still have a couple of wearables and it's cool. And I don't do it as much anymore because like their player is kind of janked and it's not great and sandboxed. So, yeah. And then, I don't know, somewhere in the mix, I got into GU. And, yeah. But yeah, no, the NFT tale is a long one of a lot of regret and then eventually kind of finding where I sat in it. And I guess why I love NFTs is the kind of... It's a really... Okay. So, prior to NFTs, I don't think the internet was really kind of a place in the tangible sense. I think it was just kind of a series of websites that you just kind of like did stuff on that integrated with the real world. And I feel like the reason why I am so hyped about NFTs is because they make the internet like tangible. And like when we went through that whole thing in the pandemic where like nobody went outside, it's not like we all just like, stopped existing and like huddled in a corner. We like existed on the internet, Yeah. And I'm like not gonna call it the metaverse because it's gonna make this whole thing sound really dumb if I call it the metaverse. So I'm not. But having sort of tangible value to the things we do online is a beautiful thing, because at the end of the day you can turn around and go, hey mom, all those hours I put into World of Warcraft are worth something. And that's why NFTs are great, because your mom can't tell you to stop playing video games.
That's it, that's huge. NFTs have definitely been a game changer, and I find probably like yourself, you probably find that you are quite often explaining it to people. And when I first started, I didn't understand it very well myself, and through months and months, now turned into years of explaining it to people, I've kind of just figured it out through necessity of having the conversations, you know what I mean? And now I'm finding more and more awesome stuff about it, these cool projects, and some projects you just fall in love with, and other projects, you just think, oh my god, how the fuck did that boom? Like Goblin Town, for example. I'm just repulsed by the way they look. Goblin Town.
Wait, what is Goblin Town?
Goblins.
I love when you hear about NFT projects that you just didn't know existed.
It's like these little goblins. They started
no utility. Goblin Town. WTF. Wait.
Look at the floor on it. Look at the floor on it now.
Oh my god, I love this so much. You have no idea. Have you heard of a band called Necrogoblicon?
No, I haven't, no.
Okay. Now, I weirdly feel like these are completely disconnected entities. Hang on, I'm going to mute the site. I weirdly feel like these two things are disconnected entities. But, like, as a result of the existence of the band Necrogoblicon, I low-key just love goblin-related stuff. Like, I think between, like, fantasy and, like, just the lore, and their like snarkly little voices, and like they're probably the same height as me. Like we'd get on, we'd have a picnic, it'd be great. And so like I was hoping that at some point there would be Goblin-related NFTs. But the approach, I just love the whole, like, no white paper, no NFT, just Goblin. Just get it. Just do it. Like,
it's just goblins. And they started super duper cheap, and they actually have mooned. They're quite valuable now. Like, they are literally going off.
This is one of those things that I might end up buying at whatever. Like, even if this is all-time high and I'm holding the bags for Goblin Town, if that's the bag I end up holding, I am so okay with that. Like, I think there is...
But this is what I'm saying. Like, it's people like you that are driving the price of these goblins up.
You have no idea. You have no idea. Like, it's one of those things where I feel like it's like... do you watch It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's like the episode with the art. I think the Sunny episode about the art actually explains NFTs so well. Or at least
I haven't thought about
not so
that,
much
actually,
NFTs like from a technical perspective, but the hype cycle of NFTs. When the artist is just
that makes
like,
sense, yeah.
Oh yeah, like, would you buy that back from me for the same amount? No, Jesus Christ, no. But you bought it and you liked it. Goblin Town is there because, like, I feel like the creators of Goblin Town are just sat there like, so this is a thing.
Yeah, we did it. We fucking did it, Mum. We did it. Yeah.
I just, oh my God.
But yeah, the blatant disregard for the process, no white paper, no anything, just these are goblins. And I saw this awesome meme about, you know that song, that song with like, if you type in Goblin Town, my money don't jiggle, jiggle, it folds. Like, to see you wiggle. Like, there's this little goblin that's dancing to that, and it's like a super sick, like, that's a sick NFT. Like, that's a really sick one. That's worth it, because, yeah, that guy's a legend.
This might be...
But it's kind of moving into meme culture.
It is. This might be the greatest NFT of all time. Yeah. This might be the greatest NFT of all time. This might be my favorite thing.
Oh, shit.
Oh my
Here we
God,
go.
I can't believe...
We've done something
Why
here.
did nobody tell me about this up until this moment? Oh, wow. These bad boys have moved.
Oh, yeah. No, they're fucking expensive.
Well,
like,
this is
it blew my mind.
I can't believe no one told me about Goblin Town.
Like, what's the floor on them at the moment? Like, roughly,
Like
what is it
2E.
looking at? Yeah, exactly. And that's only happened in the past probably 8 weeks. Like, it's... Before that, you could pick them up for, like, 0.05 or something. Like, they've really, really gunned it. So, yeah, it's definitely something for you to look at.
Yeah.
Potentially your new obsession, Unistix. Who knows?
Oh, this is definitely... This is definitely worth 2E. I can... Yeah. Like,
all right,
this is...
so...
Oh my God, the art is just the best thing.
It's so hideous.
It's amazing.
They remind me, because I used to play a lot of Warhammer, right? And they remind me of a specific demon lord in Warhammer called Nurgle. And he used to create these little imps, and they look like little Nurgle imps. It's like haggard little things.
Warhammer is one of those things that I never got into playing because I'm really bad at painting tiny things. But I really appreciate the lore. Like, it's good.
Oh, the lore's huge. Yeah, they've got a lot of great books. Like, I used to play the Vampire Counts, and I used to play Bretonnians, and this they brought out 3 novels about the Bretonnian heroes. Like, you've got the Green Knight, and you've got, like, the Lady of the Lake, and, like, the storyline's so deep, and I was never really into the painting per se, unless every so often me and some of the boys would sit down and we'd, smoke buds, and I'd just paint skeletons because they were just black, white, and grey wash. But we used to do I don't know, we'd get 6 to 8 guys around, I'd line the tables up, and we'd just do weekends of Warhammer, because the games go if it's a quick game, it'll go for maybe 4 hours. But if it's a long game, you could play for 12 to 14 hours with a 2,000 to 3,000 point army. So I used to get people to paint mine for me. And we used to do tournaments of it, and it was fucking awesome. Like, you're out there with the tape measure, rolling dice, like, it's super
I feel like
hectic.
I don't even have the attention span for a good game of Risk. Like, I love Risk.
Oh yeah, well, even like Risk is long. Risk is a long game for people usually, because then you've got Axes and Allies above that. But Risk goes for a few hours,
does.
or you could get a 6 to 8 hour game of Risk going if someone's just sitting on Australia getting 2 every turn and not giving it up in Indonesia. You know?
Yeah. No, Risk can go on.
Huge. So it's massive. So I'd love to. It always makes me chuckle, you know, because it is a Gods Unchained podcast, but it always takes me about 15 minutes. It's taken us about 25 minutes to get into it, and I think that's what it's all about.
No, you got to get a good warm-up
You know, you got to.
like, just...
Yeah, because. Well, that's it. I mean, we play GU so much. It's important for people to, like, I do this podcast so people get to know you a bit better on a different level. You know what I mean? Like, because obviously you've been streaming for a long time and people know you from a certain way, but it's always a different dynamic seeing two people have a conversation, you know? So, yeah. Seeing the way the conversation goes. So, let's see if we can move to GU. So, you kind of, that's if you're done with the goblins. I mean, if you got anything else you want to go, I mean, if you want to talk the goblins a bit more, I'm more G with that. But you know,
I mean, here's the thing: is that if I start talking about goblins, that's all I'm going to talk about for the rest of this podcast because I have so much. I have so much to say about goblins and their tiny little creatures and their green/brownish. Like, I could just even go into the green/brown and, like, approach and concept. Like, yeah, I could go on about goblins for ages. They're just so cute.
Well, one last thing I will say about goblins, because goblins come under the same umbrella as orcs, right? In Warhammer and basically in Warhammer. And what one thing I did love about the greenskins was that they had this rule in 40k, which is like because I played fantasy. I played a bit of 40k. I played Eldar, but not a whole lot. But I had a friend that played an orc army, and if you painted their vehicles red, they got +2 for speed because they get a speed buff because they think it goes faster. It's so nuts. Like, that's a real rule in Warhammer. That's a legit rule. It's fucking.
That is one of the few rules that I actually know.
It's actually a bit of a it's a well-known thing, and it's because it's so fucking hilarious. But did you ever play any World of Warcraft actually before we get into GU? Did you ever play much WoW?
Yes, I did.
Were you? I'm assuming you were Horde, or were you Alliance? It sounds it, and I'm assuming that you had an orc character. Like,
no,
it sounds like no.
So,
who did you like to play?
Goblin.
Playing little goblins.
Didn't get into WoW until quite late. So didn't get into WoW until after Mist and Pandaria.
Yeah, true.
Which everybody is like, oh, you got into the worst time. Like, no, pandas.
Yeah, no, Pandaria was a sick expansion. Great soundtrack,
and so
too.
Got in quite late. But, you know, it was good. But, yeah, mainly goblins. Also, the goblin starting zone is just cursed. Like, I eventually decided to play as, like, something else. Just anything else. And I was like, oh, this is actually not pure, unadulterated pain.
Well, I mean, Horde's got some cool things. Like, I mean, I like the Blood Elves. Like, I like pretty things. That's why I've never maybe been into goblins. Like, the Blood Elves, they were
Well, actually, I have played Alliance once. I played as a gnome because I wanted to see what the experience of being a gnome rather than a goblin was. It was terrible.
Well, there you go.
It was like being a goblin.
It's just a goblin. It's just like a goblin with natural born privilege, isn't it?
Exactly. It's a goblin, but worse. You're not rooting for them in the stories. You're like, oh, there's no, like, struggle. You're saying, here, dear, I'm a gnome.
Gnomes.
Look at all the little things I can build with my little gnome scholarship. I'm so smart.
I remember with gnomes, like, I did like playing them in PvP, actually. I liked playing a gnome rogue because their hitbox was a lot smaller. So, like, you could kind of maneuver around a bit. Yeah, it was pretty fucking sick. Yeah, cool. All right, played WoW. So actually, before I move on, did you ever play RuneScape?
No.
That's one last game later. Damn it. Well, it's never too late. Just going to say.
I feel like everyone says this, but from everything I've learned about RuneScape, it might just be something that I should avoid.
Yeah, it's very much culty, actually. Once you start, you never truly stop. Yeah, for real. So, Gods Unchained. Awesome. 30 minutes in. Let's get into it. So, GU, you started playing...
December...
When did you start playing it?
2020.
Yeah? 2020, so literally a full year before I started playing. Because I was chatting to Sully a couple of episodes ago on here, and he told me that when he started playing, he saw you, like, on there streaming it and stuff. So I was like, shit, she's been playing that long. He's like, yeah, dude. It's like... So what got you into it? Like you said that before you were cruising through the NFTs, but what kind of made you stick with it? And why are you still playing it? Because
just off the back of WoW, it was like, ooh, we can play a TCG. That's cute, and like I have friends who really liked Hearthstone. So, and then I kind of saw that it was like quite similar, and I'd kind of reached this point where I'd just gotten back into Hearthstone for the fifth time. Like, everyone goes through these phases where they keep playing it, and like, there's like a whole new expansion, and like, I was just like, there's so much money that I have to spend, and like, I did, and then like around that time, I was watching some Hearthstone streamers, because you just casually play Hearthstone, watch Hearthstone, it is what it is, and like in the little recommended, there was like, who was it? It was either Triggerhaven or Copper Pitch. It was one of the two of them. I cannot remember who was first, but it was one of the two of them. They were like, yeah, playing Gods Unchained. I was like, okay, this looks cool. And watched them play for a bit. I was like, okay, cool. It looks like Hearthstone. And then they started talking about like NFTs, and I was like, okay. Looked it up, like, downloaded all of it, started playing around with the welcome packs, got absolutely like destroyed, just wrecked. I was like, wow. This is terrible. And the day after, I went back and I was like, okay, I'm going to try and make a deck and, like, see what happens. And then, like, got to Midnight Shadow. I was like, this is great. And I think I've just been stuck at Midnight Shadow ever since that, like, first month. Like, I'll have moments where I'll be like, yeah, alright, gold, mythic, diamond. But no. Like, if you chart my progress over, like, a year, I'm just like... Midnight Shadow on average. I'm decidedly
that's all G.
Gods Unchained, and it's great.
But that's all G though. Like, I really I appreciate that, because that's where all the homies are. Yes. You know what I mean? Well, once you start, like, there's this massive change that happens to people, and I've seen it, and I went through it myself.
Yeah, when you hit Mythic,
when you hit Mythic, and you just feel like you're better than people. And I was even putting in my streams, like, Mythic Nature, this is what a Mythic player looks like.
I put Mythic Nature in my Instagram bio. I was like, I hit Mythic, I was like, Mythic Nature Gods Unchained player. Like, yeah. Like, exactly. And I'm like, do I want to play a game right now? Like, I'm not feeling ace. And I know if I'm not feeling ace, I'm going to drop out of Mythic. We don't want to drop out of Mythic. And one day I had to stop playing Nature. I just dropped out of Mythic entirely. I was like, okay, well, that makes no sense.
No, that literally the same thing happens to me with Mythic, but it's like that. There's this, it's almost like a toxic mindset, and then you see people, they'll yo-yo out between, Shadow and Mythic, they'll yo-yo, and then after a while, and this is what I tried to breed, I can't remember who said it in my stream once, but it stuck with me, and I want to get it tattooed, and that's Mythic's a mindset. and I just want to take that forward, you know.
Yes.
Because who gives a fuck if you're mythic or not? Because I find that there's quite an elitist attitude that goes on, and it kind of fucks with the game a bit.
It does a little.
It comes with toxicity, and I just want to create a healthy fucking place for people, you know, where they have fun. And if they get to mythic, sick.
Yeah,
and if they
it's great.
stay there, even better. But if they don't,
it's also good.
no
We're having a good
shading.
time.
Yeah.
Like, as long as you don't
Exactly.
play light, you're good in my book.
So there we go.
Like-
That's what I was going to ask next. So what gods do you prefer?
So, Death, OG Death Gang. Like, number one. And then probably War and Deception. I love a good bit of aggro war. You can never go wrong with aggro war. No matter how many times they change the god powers, aggro war is still going to be a thing. You know. Nature and magic.
And do you still go back to nature sometimes?
I do have some moments where I'm like, I actually want to win on weekend ranked. And yeah, no, I do have like my nature. I have quite a few nature moments. Magic is that class that like I love, but I actually don't think I've mastered it yet. Like everyone is like magic after nature is the easiest, but I think for me, because of like how I choose to play, it's such a mindfuck. And I think it's also the class that like beats me the most, like objectively. If I come up to the game and then I play magic, I'm like, I'm probably not gonna win. Like,
well, that's the thing with magic. It's I think the most diverse
Yes.
god, because you can play control, you can play tempo. So, you know, obviously tempo being aggro, but with spells and maintaining tempo. And then you've got your ramp, so you can get to big shit. And then you've got your combos, like your school teacher combos,
yes,
your Dralamar
I'm
combos.
trying to figure out combo magic because I think it works for me, but I'm playing around. Now that I've seen what people have been doing with School Slinger and the Aether Bugs, I feel like there's something there, but I need to play around with it a little bit. But I think combo magic, I probably will start doing stuff in the future, but it's just such a mindfuck. And then,
Yeah.
the Forgotten Stepchild,
What?
light.
Well, I mean, that's the thing with the combo decks, they work, but the downside is how often can you get them to work? And can you pull off the combos without making a mistake? Because if you're versing, for example, if you're playing a school teacher and your opponent's playing Deception and they cut through you and they take
You're
the
done.
fucking card, then it's
But
it.
I
Yeah,
feel
you're
like-
out, you know.
Yeah, actually, that's such a good point.
Yeah, it's a bummer.
Yeah, Deception really...
Yeah,
This
cool.
is why Deception is actually OP. It's just hard to play. But yeah, I think Deception is definitely the most... Like, everyone's like, oh, Nature's OP. No. Nature is fight. Nature is balanced. It takes a while before you get a go. You have to get to turn 7. Cutthroat Insight is 5 mana. At turn 5, you just lose the best card in your hand. And there's no, like, it's not a random card. You just open up your opponent's hand, you take their best card, and you remember everything in there and annihilate them before
Exactly.
their hand changes enough that you can... Like, what do you do against that?
Well, there's a couple things. You can just concede. But it's like, that's the thing, like, Deception is clearly just the anti-meta god.
Yes.
Ludia she is very awesome.
Also, just like...
And I played it for...
I was going to say, the
Sorry, you
things
go.
Deception does with Order are just awful.
Oh, yeah. No, fucking oath. Like, you can chuck the order down. Like, Hidden's obviously gnarly. Hidden is, like, literally spitting in your face. Like, I'm going to drop this card, and I'm gonna give it Hidden, and you're going to see this coming from a mile away. And unless you can AoE, it's like, GG. Yeah. It's like, fuck.
Oh, God, it's
full on.
Yeah, Deception is cruel.
Yeah, but fun, but also, I mean, and that's the thing, it's available to everyone, which makes it that's what makes it okay, because it's not like there's a huge. It's not like board wipe death where you need to put a few ETH into a deck. You can make a good cheap deception deck, and that's what I like about it, because it is, in my opinion, an anti-meta deck.
Yep.
You know. But speaking of metas and stuff, have you been? You are going to be holding a tournament soon, from what I have heard.
Yeah, on the 16th of July. I really hope I got that right. Yeah, I think it's the 16th. Until the 23rd. I'm really bad with dates.
Well, it's 2 weeks away.
Yeah, there's still
2
like
weeks away.
some time.
So,
we've planned some of it. I haven't announced a lot other than on stream. I'm like, tournament is happening. Yeah.
No. Well, you have to get them ready for it. But I mean, have you thought much about? And please feel free not to answer this if you have, or you don't want to tell me. But have you thought about what kind of format you want to run?
Yeah,
like,
we're doing something wild. We're doing something wild. Why? Because I can never do things like a normal person and make things convenient for other people. So I basically spoke
That's huge.
with I'm trying to just JamesDub peeps on a call. It was just a whole thing, and we're gonna try and do it like tribes, because I guess no one's done a tribes tournament yet.
Wow.
And
That's
so
cool.
essentially your deck has to be based on like a certain tribe. So you either got to be playing Aethers or Guild or Wild or I'm trying to remember the other Amazon. Yeah.
Either Vikings or Atlanteans, like heaps of
all
shit.
of that fun stuff. It's got to be based on something. And yeah.
Nice.
Just, get your I forgot what they're called. Get your tribes together and whoop the other team's tribe. And
That's
then,
exciting. That actually sounds really exciting. Yeah, I've never seen that before. That's fucking cool.
So that's what we're doing. And I think Unistix are like setting up a whole thing to make it work, because it wasn't there before, but now it's going to be there, which is going to be really sick.
Hey, so you actually came up with something that another platform had to adjust their platform to accommodate your wishes. That's huge.
I'm just there making people adjust and accommodate all the time.
That's huge. So Wispsy's got his on this weekend. Do you reckon you're playing it? So his rules are you can only play Welcome and Mortal Judgment.
Yes, because you can only play Welcome and Mortal Judgment, and I'm really like, I feel like I've got some good cards, but I'm not like the biggest collector. So I think the decks where the tournaments where there's like, a restriction and it's like a really basic restriction, I tend to do okay. And by do okay, I mean, I don't do very well in tournaments.
Me neither. And it's not about taking. I mean, and like I was saying before, the top players are quite cliquey, and that's all good. Like I hold a lot of tournaments, and they're all cool dudes, but it does get a little bit cliquey with these upper echelons of players, and rightly so.
Like at the end of the day,
they put in.
Yeah. But at the same time, there's us casual guys just having a good time.
That's it, yeah, casual.
And I'm sure like the top players are also having a good time as well. Like, there's probably a certain element of enjoyment coming out of, it. But at the same time,
Oh, absolutely. No, absolutely. They're definitely enjoying themselves. Like, I stay up to date with a lot of what those metas are, like the changes that happened, and I still like to keep up to date with. I don't know if you watch the Mudman. I watch his meta videos every week. He's quite good. Yeah. So you'd be pretty stoked to hear that Light's pretty heavy in the meta right now.
Okay, so such a great meta right now. Like, it'd be so great if someone could come up with something that completely counters it. Yeah, that might be what I just sit down and do for the next 2 weeks. Oh my god. No, to be fair, I
what
found
about,
that deception actually counters light okay, because you're just throwing
Absolutely.
stuff at them and they're like, oh no, I can't do anything about this.
Well, you steal their strength. You can take
I
their
love
cards,
strength,
You can
Dave.
fuck them around a fair bit. Yeah.
So Alien Villager put together like a really good strength deal deception decks, and then I made some like tweaks and shoved a couple of like legendaries and whatnot in there, and it's just such a fun deck to play against light, because it is essentially like the antithesis to everything that light is planning to do. It's like, oh, you're planning on like stealing creatures? Oh, that's fine. Or not stealing. You're planning on stealing strength? Oh, that's fine. These are all 1-drops, and they're also doing that. Oh, you're planning on stealing minions? Well, target him. He's hidden. Good luck. By the time you get him, he'll be dead.
Exactly.
Like, it's just... it's like, oh, you planned on doing something terrible at turn 7? Eat wither fingers. Like, it's just... It's just such a fun deck to play against light, because they're just not ready for it on an emotional level. Like, I feel bad using it against any other god, but like light is like, yes, this was made for you. Exclusively you.
You asked for this. But no, Alien, he's a bit of a wonder boy, actually. He's really great. Speaking of other streamers, so what kind of streamers do you kind of watch? Like, do you have time to watch many Twitch streams? Because I know you'd be quite busy. Like, who would be your 3 favorite streamers to kind of tune into, and why?
That's a really good
Just
question.
so people can, I want people to, check out new streams.
Oh, wait,
have you
like,
seen anyone cool lately?
Exclusively, or like in general?
I reckon we'll
let's
stick to
GU, 'cause
GU.
that's
I mean,
like wider.
yeah.
So obviously, like, Just Cuckoo, GU Girl Gang! Yeah, she's great.
I love Cuckoo. She's great,
Fëanor, like, they're just awesome. Like, they are so high energy, and like, the tunes are always banging. Like, it's never not been like a moment where I tune into like Fëanor stream and like, you're just there like, this is just sick. Like, I'm just gonna sit here and have this on in the background with the radio, because this is vibey. As like, oh my god, I picked 2 people, now I have to pick a third one. Because I have to...
Fëanor and Cuckoo are both huge choices.
Who's the third person?
There's some really fucking good streamers out there,
There are
man.
some really good streamers. Third person. Oh, this is really hard because there's only one spot left. Oh, this is really hard.
Well, you can like, you
I
gotta
have to
stick
stick
to 3.
to 3.
You can't do
Okay.
4. You gotta.
I'm gonna pick Spring.
Oi, nice, yes.
So I
huge.
recently, like very recently, started. Well, not that recently now, but I think like for people that I haven't been watching for ages, like I find their games really entertaining. They're like, and also I feel like they take losing really well, if that makes sense. Like I can't explain it, but whenever
That's
they
a
lose a
big
game,
thing.
like the banter level, like the banter just goes like up, like they're funnier. Whereas I feel like a lot of the really like top players, when they lose, there's like an element of like they're not mad, but like they're not mad. Whereas I feel like when they lose, it's like
the vibe drops.
So Spring. Those are my top 3.
Spring, yes,
that I'm
Spring's
watching
good
at the moment.
Well, as usual, you heard it, guys. Check him out. Spring, Fëanor, Cuckoo. Cuckoo's amazing.
Cuckoo's awesome.
I believe she's Romanian. Fëanor being, I think, Portuguese, and Spring, good old Canadian, my man. Yeah. And I love Spring's mustache as well.
He's such a dope
I rocked the
mustache.
mustache for a while, and
Mustache is cool.
it's fucking
I'm like
sexy.
so here for
it's
like the
sexy
resurgence of like the mustache. Although it's been like happening since. I mean, the resurgence of the mustache has been happening since 2010, though. Like, is it a resurgence anymore? Or is it just society's conditioned me to appreciate mustaches?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a big thing in November. They got November in Australia. I don't know if you guys have it everywhere else, but it's it's a big thing. But I love people that do it all year round. You know, sweet. So we've got top 3 streamers that you like. Oh, and another. Have you been staying up to date with kind of news that's been happening on the GU front?
So I used to be like
savvy
good at,
with the news,
keeping track of everything, but eventually it just started to get to a point where there was just so much of everything that now I just kind of follow the announcements on Discord.
Yeah, fair. Well, I mean, I guess have you heard about what's happening with the offering of the gods?
Do I understand it?
Yeah,
kind of. But yes.
Well, I mean, it's airdrops, isn't it? I mean, who wouldn't be excited about airdrops?
Oh no, I mean, I get the airdrop
so basically,
part. What I don't get is like what the criteria was this time.
It's based off. So let's say you have 10 gods in your wallet. They screenshot it weekly. Yeah,
sweet.
They'll screenshot it weekly, and then you'll get free gods the next time, and they'll just do that. And they put over 1 million gods.
Oh, sweet! So it's just a god snapshot. I thought it was cards like last time.
Yeah.
I was very confused.
No, this time and I think it's also for spend. So I don't think you have to hodl your gods. They also take into account how many so you can spend your packs. You can buy packs. You can buy cards. So it's basically activity with gods, and then you'll receive which is pretty sick, you know. I mean, yeah, like why not free stuff?
I can't complain.
And so, as someone that's been playing you've been playing for what, a year and a half now. So what have you noticed? Kind of like, what are some of the biggest changes that you've noticed that other people may not have even, you know, have seen change? Like, what are some of the biggest improvements you've seen GU make over the past, 18 months?
Oh, these are fun. Okay, so first of all, actually just doing the stuff that they said they were gonna do. I think that was an element of like being a crypto project, getting in like back in the WenForge days, and just actually being like, wait, there's a forge. There's a functioning forge. Like, I feel like people don't know of like the pre-forge days where we were just like, how do you sell like cars? And you're like, well, you just, token trove and best hope it's a shiny. That's all you can do.
Yeah.
And like, okay, what else? Like, being able to do tournaments on GU stakes, just like, there was a point where there wasn't all this stuff like integrated into it. I mean, yeah, we had like GU Dex was a thing when I joined. So that was definitely a thing. Like pre GU Dex, you're talking about them like Copper and Trigger Haven days and like old gang, but I shouldn't call them old gang. Like way back when gang, original gang. Oh, that's all OG.
The OGs, yeah. That's it, yeah.
But like, yeah, just actually doing the stuff that they said they were gonna do is like a big thing because it really kind of changed a lot of the dynamic of the game. I guess GU stakes is a big one. That being added.
Yeah.
And yeah, just here's
that's really
another
nice
one.
actually.
Like,
or
a big one is that nerfs aren't like as big. I feel like people get way too hung up on like nerfs and like meta changes in like the small scheme of things. Because they'll be like, oh yeah, I've been playing for
absolutely. They complain when it's not balanced, but then they complain when their favorite deck gets nerfed, and it's like,
and it's like, in the grand scheme of,
we've got to see the positives here,
in
fam.
the grand scheme of things, I'm still hung up on like what was it called? Onslaught. I'm still hung up on like Onslaught being nerfed. Okay, so like whatever people are mad about being nerfed, like it's fine because it's gonna keep happening, and there will eventually be like one thing. Oh, so Onslaught was before the new
Yeah, I'm not
Oh my
familiar.
God. Okay,
Yeah.
so before the recent changes to the god powers, there was a god power for war called Onslaught. And I'm trying to remember what it even did. What did it do?
Well, it sounds like it was good. Sounds like
What
it
did
was good.
Onslaught even do? I can't remember, but it was like super OP. It was OP to the point where it was coined Onslaught because games were boring because you knew you'd win if you weren't playing. What did Onslaught do? I feel like it had to
I
do
have
with
no
your
idea.
relic.
I'm gonna check it
No,
out.
that was Old Slayer. Old Slayer was relic. What did Onslaught do?
I'm looking it up right now. So, oh no, it's just coming up with Archimonian Onslaught. Oh, during the battle. Oh no, this is just people talking about it on Reddit. If you can find it.
Oh
that'd
yeah, I
be huge.
remember.
So
Give
God-
Blitz to one of your creatures. Just give
Oh,
somebody
shit.
Blitz. Just
That's
put something
fucking
down
huge.
and give it Blitz. Like, what was that?
That's disgusting. That's disgusting.
Yeah, and it was for war. The card with the big, like, war was basically like, most war cards are so strength weighted, it's insane. And also, like, you have the elephant, I can't remember what it's called, but the elephant. Can you imagine giving that elephant that, like, shouldn't take any damage, Blitz? You just come in, ping off a 1/1 with that, and he's like, hi, I'm here.
Hello.
Also, just so many, the other Viking that, like, gets health when it takes damage, you ping that down and it's already strong. Like, you could essentially get all of the damage things and take out minions and just, like, it was problematic.
Dominate.
Problematic.
How much was it? 1 or 2 mana or 3 mana? How much did it cost?
Was on the spot.
Because it just
2
seems
mana.
that is broken and 2 mana. Yeah, I'm glad that's gone.
I'm not.
Because that's well, I mean, there's just so many examples of it being
Yeah.
OP. You know, and like you're saying, cards that. You know, once they take damage, or especially like there's war cards, if this survives damage, do this. Like, you know, you could manipulate that really
you
fucking
could.
well.
Oh my god, so I feel like enraged decks are kind of modeled after, like, the current, like, previous Onslaught decks. Like, enrage is good. But, like, Onslaught
Yeah.
was disgusting.
No, that's massive.
What else used to be a thing? I'm trying
That's
to remember
massive.
what else used to be a thing that was, like...
Well, the decks themselves looked a little different. The boards, like they've done a lot of aesthetic
it is actually
changes.
a lot, like, cleaner aesthetically. It's just been, like, such a slow thing over time that I've not really, like, twigged it, if that makes sense.
Oh no, totally. Like it's like looking in the mirror every day. You don't
Yeah.
notice it. You know, these little changes. So coming good on the promises, getting rid of OP stuff. Obviously adding depth in the scene, adding the forge. Now we've got the shiny forge too.
Oh, shiny forge was such an exciting
huge.
disappointment for me personally. So everyone was hyped. I was hyped. We were all ready. And then shiny forge opened up. I realized I actually didn't have that many cards in shiny forge. It was so sad. I think I made like 2 shadow cards, and I was like, cool.
Oh,
Look, it is what it is. Cute.
That's a bummer,
And then
bro.
I think someone jumped in my stream and they're like, I forged like 20 cards. And I'm like 20 gold. I'm like, where did you get them from?
It's been hodling. They've been hodling for fucking
I've
months.
been hodling for a year and a half. I'm just not very good at the game.
I've got to say though, I love that though. For someone that classes themselves as an average player, you've really stuck with it, and I think it takes a lot of people like that to build a strong and long-lasting fucking
I think
community.
It's the community
So big
as
ups
well,
to you
which is why I've stuck
for doing
with
that.
it, though. It's like, I think of all the games I've played, it's been the most like community involved, I think, as a game. And so, and like, yeah, I've just met so many like awesome streamers, and yeah, it's like hard to not be involved.
That's amazing.
Once you sort of start and get into it, because just everyone's so awesome.
No, I agree. So what are you kind of, where do you see Gods in a year? Like, what are you kind of looking forward to? Have you thought about this at all? Like, what do you want the game to look like in a year? Like, in every way, player base, fucking game style. Like, they just dropped the weekend ranked from 25 to 18 so people can do all their games. So they're making all these small improvements.
I feel like...
Yeah.
It's actually doable. Like, I think in a year's...
Yeah, well, 25 was a bit of a mission.
Like,
like 25 was like, yeah.
I'm gonna be honest, like, confession, I think I hit 25 games, like, maybe 2 weekends in the entire time I've been playing. Who has the entire... Like, I gotta, like, go out and, like, exist. Like, how are people finding the time? And, like, I found that the 25 game rule meant that on weekend ranked, I was like, well, I'm playing aggro because I need to get 25 games in. If I play like control or like rap, no, that's not happening. And I think, yeah,
you'll be there all day.
Yeah,
all
like,
night.
how do people find the time to actually hit their 25 games?
Yeah, so what are you kind of looking forward to? Where do you see GU in a year? Like, I know we got mobile coming, which is fucking cool.
So yeah, I guess I was.
I'm looking forward to that.
Being able to play GU on the Loo, I'm about to smoke y'all because I have IBS. So like, I'm about to ruin everybody when GU comes out on mobile. Like, y'all are not ready for mobile Unistix. Nah.
Oh shit, that's massive.
Absolutely
so mobile.
dominating.
Anything else you're looking forward to?
Once mobile comes out is what I see in a year's time. Yeah. Also, yeah, I think like the tournaments are gonna get like a shitload bigger. I think there's probably gonna be, I imagine, quite a few DAOs like coming off the back of it. And I think it's just gonna spawn, like, the community's gonna get even more mega. Convention. Something convention related. Like, yeah. Something real world. Like, I don't even know, like, what happens, but there needs to be GU at some kind of convention. I don't know what we're gonna do with it, but it needs to happen.
Yes. Let's go. That's a fucking huge idea. Are you kidding me? Let's do it.
Like, how has it not come up yet? Like, why have we not? I guess there's been a whole pandemic. It was a game that came out during the pandemic. So I guess that's why. But like... Yeah,
but...
We're just like... Yeah, why is there not like okay, I get that's like NFT gaming conventions and like crypto, like Web3 conventions. Well, there's NFT conventions and there's Web3 conventions, but why has there not been a like crypto gaming convention? There's enough games. There's enough games now.
Holy shit, we should start one. We should fucking start one, Unistix.
It's happening.
Let's fucking do a project together.
We're setting up a convention.
Let's do this shit. Like,
you heard it here first, guys.
Yes, that would be huge. Are you kidding me?
Because literally, there are so many. Like, also, the perpetual beta thing is so beautiful for a convention because all the games would want to be like, "Hey, our beta's coming out," and it's like your beta's been coming out for 3 years, mate, but whatever, you can join. I do love that, like, everything. I do love that, like, everything in Web3 is just in perpetual beta. It's like, oh, this is buggy. Well, we're in beta. It's like, is that how a beta works? Like, we're really taking liberties with the concept.
Oh my god! I just had an idea for a coin. Unistix, we could make it and call it Beta Coin, right? And it's just going to be in beta, and then we'll just promise that when these things leave beta, it'll be worth more, and then just that's step one. Step 3 is profit. We just need to figure out step 2.
Look. Once we finish the beta, it's going to be like, it's going to move. But how is it going to move? Well, when we finish the beta, it will move. So give us money to finish the beta.
We'll go like Goblin Town. Yeah, no white paper, no plan.
Just moon. Oh my god. I'm like low-key
yeah.
tempted to just make you. Have you seen those like websites where it's like, this is a website, this is an HTML website. Websites do not need to be complicated. This is just a website. I'm so tempted to make a crypto token and a website just based off that now. It's like, this is a website. It's just a basic website. This is a token. It's just a basic token. What did you expect?
Yeah. Yeah, it is what it is. That's huge. All right, so we're gonna get this fest happening, you know, because I'm a big fan of. I still play a lot of Pokemon Go. I'm still about the Go Fest, so I think Gods Unchained needs to get some kind of, like you're saying, that makes a lot of
like
sense,
live tournaments,
man. Like some kind of Comic-Con thing.
I don't really know what else we could do.
Oh,
that's really all you need.
That's all you need. Like, yeah. You could just do like. You could have cosplay competition, and then we could have like wrestling matches, you know, Sandbam versus Copper Pitch, wrestling IRL, lots of cool stuff.
Wait. I feel like there is a layer of like context that I have missed entirely. Wait. Like,
no, I just want to see people wrestle. That was the first two that came to mind.
Oh, I thought they actually wrestled. I was like, how are there so many people in GU who wrestled? And more importantly, like...
No, I just want to see people wrestle. Yeah, no, I just want to see people wrestle.
Like, I'll wrestle.
Yeah, I'll wrestle.
Yeah, I'll wrestle.
I'll wrestle.
Yes, we have wrestling.
All right, shotgun wrestling Wispsy. I'll wrestle Wispsy basically because I think he'd just be a good hug. You know, you look at Wispsy, you go, he'd be a good hug. So yeah, I'll wrestle Wispsy.
Wait, who? Who do I want to wrestle?
Wispsy.
Well, no, because you shotgun Wispsy now, so I can't wrestle him.
Yeah, Wispsy's mine. Yeah, Wispsy's mine. You can well, why don't you well, you could wrestle your top three. You know, you could wrestle Phenor, Cuckoo, and Spring.
Cuckoo and Spring.
Tag team. It could be you and Spring versus.
Do I get to pick a tag team?
Yeah.
Oh, I get to pick my tag team against Spring and Phenor and Cuckoo. And okay, I want to pick for who I'd wrestle against them. Party Boy Craig.
Nice.
Definitely Party Boy Craig. And then
dig it.
Who do I think would be a good wrestler? I feel like as that came out of my mouth.
A good wrestler. I
was like, what have I done? What's my person?
There's a bunch of people I'd love to see in the ring. I don't know. You go Aldous. Kargas would be
so
pretty
good.
sexy in the ring.
That's what I'm picking. Party Boy Craig and
he could come out in his little penguin suit. You know?
That would be his wrestling name. Party Boy Craig and me and Kargas against Sprink and Phenor and Cuckoo tag team.
Huge. That's massive.
I think we'd win.
Well, we definitely have to lock these in. Yeah, well, you know, I think it'd be good bets. You know, I think people would bet on that. I'd bet on that.
Yeah,
I'd bet on that for sure.
It'd be a tough match, but I think we'd
and I'm
about
definitely wrestling Wispy.
Edged over.
You think you got the advantage? Yeah,
give us the edge. Man's got reach. Oh wait, that's boxing.
He has, yeah.
Boxing. That's a completely different sport.
Oh shit. Oh yeah, no, there's no punching in the face, no hitting below the belt, just wrestling. Just wrestling. Oh, well, I don't know. I mean, obviously the cosplay would be a huge thing, and then maybe some kind of. Oh, this is another thing actually. I've been talking to people about this. You know how in Magic the Gathering you've got the artists and they put their names at the bottom of the pictures. Like, how would you feel about something like that? Like meeting the artists of the cards. We could have like tables of artists.
That'd be so cool.
Yes, we could commission artwork
you
by
could
them.
do the thing where you get like you drawn
yeah.
as like a GU card.
Yes.
That would actually be so cool. I would like put that on my wall.
That's a
I
good
would
question.
Put that on my wall.
What would you say is your favorite? And I know this is on the spot and going to be real hard to answer, but what would be your favorite card artwork from
That
GU?
is a really hard question, but honestly, with the fingers.
Oi, Spring said the same thing. Was it Spring? There's been a couple people that have said with the fingers as well.
That, like, she's looking through the window of the card and like hovering through the window, and like, dang, it's creepy.
Maybe it was Zero. Actually, I changed what I said before. I'd want Grandmaster to be my tag team duo.
You and Grandmaster would fuck
Sorry,
shit up.
just going back
Y'all
to
would
that.
fuck shit up. I am like concerned that anyone who step into the ring with you two, you'd absolutely dominate. Like, it would be so great. I feel like you both have such good like tag team wrestler energy as well. Oh, you would sell the hell out of that.
Oh yeah, the wrestling. Well, he's coming to Australia. He'll be here in the next month too, so I'm super excited. It's gonna be sick. So with the fingers is your
I
card.
feel like I'm gonna like, actually reach into the black. Reach into the black.
That's a
Like
sick
it's a
card.
real toss up between
That's a
the
sick
two
card.
of those. It's a real because there's.
You've got a real. You like dank stuff, don't you? You like kind of like you're into goblins. You're into like the death cards and the deception cards. I'm into pretty things, you know. I like the Alistrina artwork.
I love me some like creepy, dank, just. I'll give you a good example of like my love for like the dank and disturbing. So when I was in like high school, we have that like day at like the end of the year when you're in like your last year. I think this is very like British thing. I don't know if this happens in like other schools, where you basically like kind of get to mess like it's called like a mock-up day, and you kind of just like do weird stuff around school with like water guns and paintballs and just be weird, you know? And you gotta like do some artsy stuff.
Just pranking and stuff.
And everyone else was doing these like bright, colorful like things. And I was like, I have an idea. And I got all like the skeletons from like the biology lab and stuff. And like loads of like black drapery, and like turned the main entrance into this like haunted death cathedral with skeletons everywhere. And then I got
That is so dang.
we have to like make it somewhat cheerful. I was like, we'll get some black balloons and just fill it with balloons then. I'm doing art. This is art.
It's art.
It's
I
just like live for like the creepy and disturbing and weird. Like my love for roadkill taxidermy.
Whoa.
So
Roadkill taxidermy?
Taxidermy as a
For real?
concept because it involves killing a whole animal and like mounting it in your house. However, things die. And there's something beautifully hilarious about a preserved badger's face just before it's been hit by a car.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
I just
Oh
really,
my
really
God.
like found or roadkill taxidermy. Brings me so much joy.
It'd be hard to get it just
it's a
right
skill.
because you wouldn't want it to get too mutilated.
It's such a skill.
Yeah, and also if it's
Then
out there
dries
for
up,
too
like,
long,
it's actually
it would get fucked up in the
really
sun.
Impressive.
Yeah.
And talented to do found taxidermy because you have to get like the right amount of fresh. Like you're essentially sitting by the road waiting for a badger to get hit by a car because if you don't get it within like 10 minutes, you can't really use it. Also, the people who do like the squirrels doing like stuff like the golfing squirrels. Oh, I live for those. Like, I'm not into like shooting wild animals or anything like that, but like, If you find something and it's dead, stuff it.
That's good. We've got that in Australia. We see a lot of roadkill. Quite often you'll see a kangaroo, dead often. But because it gets so hot here, they get so bloated. Like, they literally just swell, like these massive what would you call them?
Carcass?
Massive, what's cadaver balloons, essentially. So...
Yeah, kangaroos.
Yeah, that's what it kind of reminds me
That would
of.
be so large and so disturbing. I don't know why, but I feel like, I don't know what it is, but a dead kangaroo seems like way more disturbing than any other animal dead. I think it's because of their shape.
They're a bit bulbous at the bottom, but almost
that's
humanoid.
what it is. They're humanoid bipedalness.
Humanoid,
I feel like seeing a dead kangaroo, you'd be like, oh, it's a kangaroo. That's not a person. We don't have to, but we should do something about it. Like, I feel like if I saw a dead kangaroo, I would think it was a person first.
Yeah, no. And they're fucking scary. They're fucking scary to meet while they're alive, that's for sure.
Also,
the big red
why
ones
are we lied to as
are
children?
terrifying.
Like, obviously Australians, y'all get to see them IRL, so you can... there's no lying to an Australian about what a kangaroo looks like. But I feel like everybody else who doesn't, grow up in Australia, the version of kangaroos that you see in, children's books and, everything that refers to a kangaroo is not. It's not.
Yeah, they're showing you little baby, little cute grey wallabies and stuff, not the big reds that are just
Children
ripped.
don't need to know about the nightmare fuel. They can discover that when they're older. And instead they're like, oh, this is a kangaroo. Look at the cute little kangaroo, and it's grey and cute. And then you're like, look at that orange fucking steroid junkie. Oh, kangaroos scare me. And what scares me the most about them is
they're fucking terrifying.
Is that they are bipedal and taller than me. That's not okay.
They get big. They can get to 7 foot or something. They're huge.
You just increased my fear of kangaroos by about tenfold, because I thought that they got to
maybe not 7 foot, but 6.
Yeah, I thought they got to 6
foot.
and that's too much. That's too much.
Yeah, 6 foot. I mean, 6 foot.
I'm 5
there's
feet
obviously
tall. That's still
always
too
going to
much.
be some gigantism in the wild. 5 feet. Whoa, that'd be so big to you. Oh my god.
It would be terrifying. The idea of coming face to face with an animal that is 6 foot.
Oh.
It's not okay.
Yeah, no, they fuck you up.
I feel like I wouldn't even get disemboweled.
And that's the thing.
I'd just get kicked in the face. It's kick you disembowel.
I was going to just go into the disemboweling.
That's not what I'm worried about. I'm worried about having my skull split open by a foot. But okay, disemboweling, that's a problem too, I guess.
Yeah, like a can of beans, my dad always used to say. And I always used to think to myself, a can of beans isn't very hard to open. I mean, very easy to open.
That's the scary part of the metaphor, is that they won't try once. They'll keep going.
Oh yeah, no, they'll fuck you up. And that's the thing. They're a herbivore as well. They only eat grass.
Right.
They don't eat meat. They're just...
It's like hippos.
They're just so full of testosterone.
It's like
they're just
hippos.
so territorial.
Yeah. What is
they're
wrong
fucking dangerous.
with hippos?
They're built like a tank.
I didn't realize
They're just
that
pissed
hippos
off.
weren't
They're just
meat-eating
pissed.
animals for a really long time. I just kind of...
Yeah, they got weird big, flat teeth, big molars, the size of
That's the scary thing, is that they're
CD or
still,
something.
although they're, from, a dentist perspective, molars and flat, they're, huge and tusk-like. It's yes, they are flat, but they're also, 2 foot... It's a 2 foot long tooth.
Oh, they're huge. They're massive. Yeah,
They
hippos
do.
kill a lot of people, I think. They kill a lot of people. I think elephants kill... Elephants kill 50 a
Hippos
year,
just
I
do it
think.
for fun.
50 people a year. I'm not sure what the stats are
Elephants
for
do it
hippos,
because
but
they're
it's
like
a lot.
threatened and you're like up in their
That's
space,
nuts.
and to some extent, like they don't mean it. They're just very big and you're very little, and they don't want you there. Hippos, it's like,
Yeah.
you are like what the guide man says is completely safe distance from my area. I am angry. I'm a kid.
And they can be quick. They're quick too.
And then
in a-
suddenly it's like there's a hippo
in a
chasing
short
you,
burst.
and you're trying to get away from it. Like there's like videos of people trying to get away from hippos in cars, and the cars are losing. And it's like the only
Really?
reason that they don't
What
get
the
ruined
hell?
is because the hippo can't keep up the speed of a car for that long. But there are points where it's like the hippo is accelerating, the car is accelerating, but they're not getting away. And then eventually the hippo like gives up.
That's terrifying.
But it's the fact that the hippo gives up
Yeah.
is like, yeah. Hippos are evil. They're just
Yeah, they're definitely not meant for
no,
long
but they can
distances,
accelerate
that's for
over
sure.
some really short ones.
Absolutely not. Yeah, over like 100 yards, they'll chase you
Hippos
down.
are scary.
Well, yeah. Well, I didn't realize, but yeah, holy shit. It's been absolutely fucking amazing talking to you, but I'm getting to the end of the
yeah.
time now.
Damn.
Yeah. We're pretty deep in. Actually, I've got one last question for you,
That's fine.
actually, if that's okay. You seem to be quite into, like, as I said, dank stuff. What's like your favorite urban myth?
Oh.
Like,
Oh yeah.
have you got a favorite urban
it's
myth?
not even a myth. It's just like a thing that it's like my favorite. Like, okay, I guess it's like an urban myth that is just like fact, but I guess is just a disturbing like thing. I guess can we do urban facts, or does it have to be like a myth? Okay,
Yeah,
so check
why
it.
not?
Yeah,
Nah,
so check
scary
it.
shit, you know?
In London, there's like loads of hills, right? And it's like, there's like go sit on Primrose Hill, or I can't remember any of the other hills, but there's like loads of lovely hills that you can sit on and have a picnic. And you sort of wonder, like in a city, like why didn't they level all the hills? Why? They're plague pits, just mounds and mounds and mounds of corpses, like piled high. And people have picnics on them. Yeah.
What the fuck?
A plague pit. Like,
pits.
there's been so many things in London where massive quantities of people have died. There was the plague, there was the Great Fire. Like, so many times they've had to make mass graves. And it's a city, so you can't just, like, move the bodies. You can't demolish the graves. So you just kind of build everything else around it and keep going.
Holy shit, that's why it's so hilly there? Because
Yes.
you guys are walking on
All
corpses.
of the, like, designated, like, really pretty hills for, like, the picnics and all that. Yeah, a lot of them are plague pits. Oh, some of them are unexploded bombs. Some of the smaller mounds are unexploded bombs as well.
Oh. And are you
Yes.
allowed on there? Like, are you...
Yeah, it's
you-
like,
you-
but, like, most of these are, like, public
Holy
parks
shit.
and hills. They're just, you know, underneath them are dead bodies. And
That's dank. That's insanely dank. I've never heard anything like that. And that's definitely going to be a talking
Yeah.
point for
also, it's
something
why
in
the
the
tube
future. I
does a
can
lot
tell you
of,
that
like, when
right
you're on
now.
the tube, it, like, turns. But, like, most subways in the world don't turn. But the tube turns, like, round corners. Oh, yeah,
Yeah, well,
that's
it's
'cause,
underground.
You know,
It's
pile
underground.
of dead bodies. They can't just have the train going through that, so it's got to go around it.
Oh my god. That's so dank. Oh my god. Oh, fucking hell. I thought you were going to talk about the Mothman or something like that, but you go straight into Holy shit. Oh, fuck. Well, yeah,
It's been so
Unistix,
fun.
it's been a real pleasure. It's been a real pleasure having you on. Thank you for the chat. This has been really fun. Really made me laugh a lot.
We should do this again.
Yeah, well,
let's make this festival happen.
Let's do it again.
U-Fest. It's gonna happen.
We're doing the festival. Let's do it again. We'll do the festival, and I really would love to catch up during your tournament week as well. That could be really cool.
All right.
Awesome. All right. Well, thanks
for
again,
inviting
and
me.
enjoy your evening.
Or whatever time of the day it is. What time of the day is it for you?
It is 1:09 a.m. right now. So she's getting a bit late.
Thanks for staying up to chat to me.
Yeah. Of course. All right. Well, you have a good afternoon. All right. Bye-bye.